In this video, we got another episode of this series where I rate and improve your guys' teams. I'll put out a tweet on Twitter at X7Tanaka. I'll put out a tweet asking for teams, and then you guys can respond to that team down below in the replies on Twitter. That's how these people got into this video. But if you guys also want me to go over your squad, you guys can let me know your team and MT amount down below on the YouTube comment section. Let me know your guys' team right now and how much MT you guys have, and I'll give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. But looking at the first squad here in the video is coming in from my boy Paper. He's got 1.2 million MT, and he's trying to decide whether or not to keep or sell Tim Thomas, and he does have 10 extra Hall of Fame badges on him, making it a 50 Hall of Fame Tim Thomas. So an amazing God squad here for the first team. He's got 1.2 mil, and I would say this is easily a 9.5 to like a 9.9 out of 10. For me personally, I do 10 out of 10 as literally the perfect squad in the game. Now this is really close to a perfect squad. For me personally, what I would do is upgrade your backup 1, upgrade your backup 2, and then also upgrade your backup 3. I think your 4 and your 5 can stay the same. I like Marcus Gasol and Hakeem Olajuwon in the front court. I think they're a really good duo in the front court, but for your backup point guard, I think Ron Artest is a lot better of a point guard and a card compared to Ben Simmons. I think he plays way better defense in game with his amazing tendencies, his great defensive stats and badges, and then offensively, it's night and day of how much better Ron Artest is on the offensive end with a crazy good jump shot, great dribble sigs, and all around great stats. So I would say Ron Artest over Ben Simmons, especially if you got 1.2 mil. And then for your backup shooting guard position, what I would consider doing is moving Tim Thomas to the backup 2 or starting him over T-Mac and then having T-Mac off the bench. And then for your 2 small forwards, I like how you got AK, but I think you could go after a Bull if you wanted to. If not, there's always Bill Russell. There's some other good small forwards like KG you can go after, depending on how much MT you want to spend on your squad. But that's what I would do personally, is move Tim Thomas to the backup 1, or sorry, to the backup 2, or start him over T-Mac depending on who you prefer. And then for your 2 small forwards, you could even keep it the same and just go AK starting and have Jonathan Bender off the bench. If you do want to upgrade that, I think that's perfectly fine to do. I would just get rid of Ricky Davis and Ben Simmons, you know, with a couple different upgrades. I think the squad becomes a tad bit better, but all around still one of the best teams in the game. Looking at the next squad here, coming in for my boy, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that because I feel like I'm gonna mess it up and I don't want to, but 1.5 million MT plus his investments. His Big Z's got 35 Hoffs, his Bulls got 45 Hoffs, and then his Yao Ming does have 25 Hall of Fame badges. So a really good God squad here. Once again, another 9.5 to 9.9 out of 10. This squad probably like a 9.7, 9.8 if I were to be really specific. For me personally with this squad though, I think you can really upgrade that backup center position. For me personally, I think Brook Lopez is a lot better than Sabonis. I think Marcus Gasol is a lot better than Sabonis. Even the Pink Diamond Peter, I think he's better than Sabonis. There is Kristaps, you know, Dikembe that are out there at the center position. What I would do personally is get Marcus Gasol over Sabonis. I do think he's a much better center card. And then after that, really just comes down to preference. If you want to go AK over Jonathan Bender, that's what I would do personally. If you want to go after a KG, I think he could play your backup small forward spot. Once again, if you want to go after Ron Artest, I think he's a much better point guard than Sean Livingston. So if you wanted to spend a decent amount of your MT to make the best team possible, I personally would most likely go. Also, Big Z should probably be off the bench. You don't want to have 3 giants. So that's what I would do. I move Steve Smith to your starting lineup and then have Big Z off the bench. So for me personally, what I would do is go Ron Artest backup point guard. I would go KG backup small forward. And then I would go Marcus Gasol backup center. And I think your squad is perfect. And that's spending maybe around like 700,000 MT, maybe 600 if you do get lucky, depending on how much Kevin Garnett does cost. So that's my suggestions for your squad. But once again, another really good team in the game. Next squad here is going to be from Jason. His Bill Russell is going to be unauctionable, and he's willing to spend around 700k. So he's going to be missing a couple positions here off the bench, but he does have, you know, some good cards already in his lineup. Like I think everyone is probably most likely going to stay, except for maybe Purvis Ellison and Danny Ferry, because what I would do is really decide. Honestly, I would just get rid of both these cards. I know they're free, and if you want to keep them because they're free, you can, and still use them on your squad. But I would go Bill Russell starting small forward, and then I would go AK-47 as your backup small forward. I would just do that and get it out the way as your 2 small forwards. For your 2 point guards, I like Sean Livingston. I think a great backup point guard could be a Hito Turkoglu, whether it's the hero or whether it's the out of position. I think you could also maybe start Hito Turkoglu over Sean Livingston, and then have Livingston off the bench. For your 2 shooting guards, I would definitely get Ricky Davis. You could also look to get Big Z if you wanted to cheese a little bit and have that giant card at your shooting guard position, but definitely get Ricky Davis. Maybe even look at a Shane Battier. He's another really solid option, but I would definitely get Ricky Davis for the shooting guard position. And then for your bigs, I would probably go Hakeem Olajuwon at the starting 4. I would go Marc Gasol at the starting 5. And then for your 2 backups, I would look to get either Pink Diamond Peter or maybe Sabonis for the backup 5. And then for the backup 4, there's really not too many guys to go with. I'm trying to think of some good power forwards for like 200,000-300,000. I maybe Taco Fall. That's probably, yeah, I would go Taco Fall actually. So I would start Taco at the 4, and then I would keep Hakeem Olajuwon at your center position, and then off the bench I would go Marc Gasol at the power forward position and Pink Diamond Peter at the center position. So your 10-man rotation will look something like this. Let's say, for example, you go Hedo Turkoglu, the hero version, Ricky Davis, Bill Russell, Taco Fall, Hakeem. That's your starting lineup. And then off the bench, Sean Livingston. Let's say you keep Glenn Rice or get a Shane Battier, doesn't really matter. Backup small forward AK-47, backup power forward Marc Gasol, and then backup center Pink Diamond Peter or Galaxy Sabonis, or maybe even the dark matter Brook Lopez if you want to go for him as well. But all around, that's what I do with your squad to make it a lot better of a team. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Hakeem Olajuwon GOAT or Sports Gaming. He's gonna get Hakeem soon. I'm surprised you don't already have Hakeem, since it seems like you're a big fan of him. 600,000 MT though, and another very solid squad. I would give this maybe a 9 out of 10. I definitely think it's like one step below, I guess, the other squads we've looked at so far, especially like the first 2 teams, like the 2 God squads. Still a very good team though, probably even a better squad than I have personally, right now in the game. For me, what I would do is really just get maybe a better 3 over Danny Ferry. Like, whether you want to spend all of your MT going for a bull, whether you want to get a start AK and then maybe have like a Kyle Kuzma off the bench or a Jonathan Bender, I think you could do that as well. If you want to maybe upgrade to a Pink Diamond Peter, I think you could do that as well for your backup center position, and then move. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Get Pink Diamond Peter for your backup 5, move Mo Bamba to the backup 4, and then I would just personally really upgrade your small forward position. You could go out, get a Bill Russell. You can maybe go out and get a Kevin Garnett, but if you wanted to save some MT, I would just get Kyle Kuzma over Danny Ferry. I think Kuzma is just an upgraded version of Danny Ferry. I think he's got a better jump shot, better dribble sigs, and is a better defender as well. So that's what I would do with your squad personally, but all around is already a really good team. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Mike, he's got 200,000 MT and would like to keep Beal if possible, and then Dr. J does have 49 HOF. So I just wouldn't play Dr. J, even if he had 79,000 Hall of Fame badges. I just wouldn't play him. He's got a jump shot and normal timing. If you want to use him, perfectly fine. I'm just saying, for me personally, I wouldn't put him in your lineup. Bradley Beal, if you do like him, what I would do, honestly, unless you really like Luka and you really like Ron Artest, I would decide between those 2 cards which one you like more, and I would just sell the other one and put Beal at the backup point guard position. That's like if you want to keep using Bradley Beal, right? Now, to make the best team possible, I don't think Bradley Beal should be in this lineup, but if you want to use him because he's your favorite player, you like using the card, then I would just sell one of your top tier point guards to then upgrade somewhere else in the squad. So let's say, for example, you sell Ron Artest and you get about 300,000 MT back for the card. Now you got Bradley Beal and Luka as your 2 point guards. For your shooting guard position, I would get Shane Battier and Ricky Davis to play your 2 shooting guard spots. I like Big Z. I would get AK-47 off the bench to play over Tobias Harris. For your power forwards, I think that's perfectly cool. I would just get Marc Gasol to play as your backup center over Mitchell Robinson. So your 10-man rotation could look something like Luka Doncic, let's say Ricky Davis, Big Z, Dikembe Mutombo, Yao, and then off your bench would be Bradley Beal, let's say Shane Battier, AK-47, Taco Fall, Marc Gasol. I think for me, your squad does become a lot better. I think your team does become a lot better with those suggestions. But once again, if you want to keep Dr. J, you can definitely go ahead and do so. Looking at the next squad here, coming in from Bird, he's got just under 200,000 MT and another very solid squad. I would say for the rating out of 10, like an 8, I would say it's a solid 8 out of 10 team. Definitely a very good budget squad. Like, I like Luke Walton, I like Elgin Baylor. For me personally, I would definitely get Shane Battier to play over Jonathan Isaac, and I would sell Isaac and just have AK and Shane Battier as your 2 small forwards. And then for the shooting guard position, I think you're fine there as well. For power forward, I think you're good. Yeah, I think you're fine at power forward. I would just get Marc Gasol and get Pink Diamond Peter to play your 2 center position. I think that's like your one main upgrade. You need better centers. So I would get the Galaxy Opal Marc Gasol and get the Pink Diamond Peter to play your 2 center positions. And then I'd also look to maybe, get an Isaac Bonga to play over Luke Walton, get a Hito Turkoglu, Ousmane Dieng, one of those 3 point guards to play as your 2 point guards in your squad. And other than that, I think your team is perfectly fine. It's really just your 2 point guards, which are still amazing, and then your 2 centers, which are decent, and then maybe look to get a Shane Battier over a Jonathan Isaac, or maybe a Kyle Kuzma instead of Jonathan Isaac as well. And then guys, looking at the last squad here of the video, comes in from Husband Material. I think that's his name, I guess. He's got about 360,000 MT, and he's hoping for the new Tim Thomas to drop in price. So another very solid squad. I would probably give this a solid like 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a good team, nothing too crazy, but definitely a solid squad with about 400,000 MT. Not a crazy whole lot you can do. I would either, move Dino to play over KG, depending who you like at the power forward position, because at your backup center, you definitely want to get Marc Gasol. 100% need to have that card in pretty much everyone's squad. Like, he's just such a good value card and one of the better centers in the game. I like your 2 small forwards. I think you could get Ricky Davis over Vince Carter. I think he's just a better card than Vince. And then for your 2 point guards, I think they're perfectly fine as well. If you wanted to upgrade Sengun and go ahead and get a Hito Turkoglu, go ahead and maybe even get a Ron Artest if you want to spend a lot of MT. But if you're trying to keep it budget, I would keep your point guards the same. Maybe get like a Hito Turkoglu over Sengun, because I think Hito Turkoglu is actually like half the price of Sengun right now. I'd get Ricky Davis for your starting shooting guard spot, and then play Glenn Rice off the bench. I'd keep your small forwards the same. Decide between Dino and KG for your backup power forward position, and then get the Galaxy Opal Marc Gasol for the backup center. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for another video of the series why I rate and improve your guys' team. Like I said earlier, let me know in the comment section down below your squad and how much MT you guys have, and I'll give you guys my best suggestions to help improve your team. But hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.